Okay. So, where were we on the other one? I have given this an iron. I'll show you what I've done so far. Okay, so where we were was we hand stitched our zip in on, and I actually did both sides while I was just about to deal with my other customer. Okay, so this is just tacked in at the moment. And then I've also hand tacked a little bit across there just to see how the zip is going to lie. And then I've come along and I've given it a press, and you can see my iron, the steam iron, is doing. So I know that I can actually come and stitch a bit further across without any problems, and stitch up to underneath the zip to make that bottom seam fit. So that's what I'm going to do next, is to get that bottom seam in place, and then from that I will change to my zipper foot, and then we can stitch that zip back in properly. Okay, so I can see where my tacking has ended. I'm just going to go backwards and forwards slightly and bring up to the tail of the zip. Now on this particular machine we have a stitch that goes up and down in the same spot, so just to finish off there I'm going to do that, and it does several stitches. Okay, lift my foot up. All right, and then we're going to turn that over, and hopefully we can see, whoops, on the ironing board where we've stitched here up to there is back in place. I'll just give that a little bit more of a press, and then I'm going to change the foot on the sewing machine so on this one I'm undoing the screw, taking the main foot off, and then I have a tin with all my millions of different feet in, and that's a Teflon version, and we do have this version as well. I tend to use this one out of habit, so just put the clamp lined up with the hole and screw that in place. Bring your needle down gently so that you know that you are in where your groove is. Now if you have the special zipper foot with grooves in, you can line up your zipper with those, but they weren't invented when I learnt, so I just do it the old-fashioned way. So we're going to come out and I'm going to move that onto the other side of my needle so I can come in from the bottom and go up the way, and we just roll out the teeth They do say iron it, but I've melted them doing that, so I just hold it out with my fingers. But be careful, I don't want you sewing through your fingers. Not a nice experience, I can assure you. Right, so we're going to get as near to the zip pull as we can. Now, as I've basted this in place, or hand stitched it in place already first, we should be fine. And then we're just going to get close to the zip as we can. I'm holding this out with my fingernail, not my finger. So if the worst came to the worst, it would only be my fingernail that got in the way. Right, and then we're up to where the original stitching was. It doesn't harm to go up a bit further. Okay, give it some strength. Okay, that's done. And then we can re-stitch the outer edge to keep the zip flat. Well, I could, I've just unthreaded. I've just done the cardinal sin that I always tell people not to do, and that was I forgot to hold the ends together. Okay, so thread. Okay. Then we come to the edge of the zip, and we're just going to stitch it to the selvage, to the edge. Whoops, I've come off the hem. Okay. So I've come up past the original stitching because we're in slightly different colour threads. Okay. And then we're going to do the same on the other side. We're going to uncurl our zip from where we've tacked it. Okay. I'm going to hold those threads out of the way again this time. Out on the curl and follow the tacking stitches that we made earlier. And down as close to the zip as we can get. Now you will see this piece here is more pronounced than it was. Hang on a moment. Come down. And that's because we've come over the pulled over from the damaged part. And then as low as we can go towards the foot. I don't mean the foot, I mean the zip pull. Okay. And then again, just tweaking that curve that we put in as we moved the zip. Oops, that's sliding off. That's actually a bit of laziness, because normally I would have swapped back the feet, because there's more grip on the other ones than there is on a zip foot. Right, okay. Removing all our threads. And up we go. So you can see now that our zip is back in. Okay, and you can't see much of the other. And what I will just do is I will just restitch there. I'm just not so happy that I've got about a millimetre or so of fold and down below. So if I open that out, it will open the bottom of the seam. So what I want to do is to press it and maybe just stitch a little bit further in than I did, just to ease it in. So just kind of bring in that line just by that tiny amount. Let's see if that makes a difference. Okay, turn the garment back out. Offer it back to the ironing board. Pressing cloth. Oops. Turn that up a bit. And then we can just press. Okay. And there we are. One dress with its zip back in place, and the damage up there is behind there. Okay, so we are a bit narrower here, but it is now as aligned as it's going to be in the lady's clothes. Okay, there we go.